Sorry, I had to get my nose spray in case I end up. Good God. Lord have mercy, y'all. Hello. Shreddy! Look, they have done. YouTube is really mess with people's handles. You know that your name, your handle on YouTube. Like everybody's got these weird letters afterwards, and I'm like, what the. Like why we used to be able to pick out our thing as we would show up. Can y'all hear me fine? And apparently, anyways, alrighty. How are you? Okay, so as promised, I am back today. I will have to put some ground rules down. Can I just tell you, I used to be the master of cramming a lot of information into a shorter amount of time. Back in my earlier days, like 2020, 2019, people were like, hey, like I could cram a lot of information. 20 minutes. 20 minutes was like this really long time because people were doing these little like 5-minute reads for people and stuff. Sometimes it would be like, and there was I guess a training period where Spirit was like, I want you to feel through certain stuff because everything would be going, that I would get worn down quicker. But now shit elongates like it's not even funny. And I'm like, we're going to have to find that happy medium. Okay. Because I used to try to cram like 9 readings in one setting, which is also not good. I did fantastic last time. We were on for about 5 hours. I'm not going to guarantee no 5 hours today. I am going to be smart. I left that feeling energized, feeling great. Yay. But I'm going to do my very best. And I'm setting the intention that if I do a read, we're not like going over 20 minutes. Okay. I do like to get the full message out, right? I don't want to just kind of like half-ass or give a teeny bit of little something. And then you're kind of like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? So there will be a bit of a conversation. I do try to help you tailor your question because what you ask matters on the answer that you're going to get. So just be aware. Also, not everybody gets a read, guys. Okay. I feel like these are all like no shit, right? Kind of thing. But I have come across in my day after 6 years of this. There's the few that come on and just are so demanding and a little bit entitled. So we come into this just like, hey, if you get a reading, amazing. Also, you are a sovereign being over your life. You get to determine if, how, when, where, why. Anything that I tell you applies. Okay. And if you like, sometimes reading like whatever I give you, it won't make sense in the moment, right? Sometimes it just doesn't. And then life keeps going and they're like, oh, shit lands. So you do not have to take anything that I say or that I channel or whatever else to like the nth degree. You are that sovereign being. So I will try to cut down on the times. It is ridiculous. I can't get as many people in if I'm going for an hour. And that's more not for you all. I'm just giving you a heads up because y'all have seen me do that before. That's me talking to Spirit, like, squeeze me. We need to, like, rein some shit in. And then, of course, not everybody gets. I used to do, like, play these games to determine who would get a reading. But I am just going to go off of what I feel today. Because if I feel like a pushback, I'm not going to do it. If I feel like yes, then I'm going to do it. Does it make sense? And if we don't have a bunch of people on today, then okay, all good in the hood. You know what I mean? I feel like I need to. I'm not sponsored by this. Look, I went to the gas station today, and so I got me a coffee. Alrighty. Are you shitting me? Okay, how bad is my voice still getting stuck, or is it because I touched this every damn time I touch it? Tell me if I'm good. Okay. Okay. It's probably because I moved it earlier on. Stupid freaking. Anyway. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see here. So we've got Andrea and Neelam. Um, uh, hold on. I literally thought that said Neelam 14 by 41, like like the mirrored numbers. I was like, that is cool. And then I remembered YouTube does that stuff. Okay. Do you see how that did you just change your name? Am I crazy? Am I crazy, guys? I feel like I might be crazy. Okay. All right. So I'm not doing any general reads ahead of time. I do see people popping in and out. Okay, you did. Okay, good. I was like, look, look. Shruti, are you still in? Dolly, are you still in? Because YouTube will not show me everybody that's on. Like I could have 10 people watching and it'll look like there's 4 because I will hop up off of this thing and like the number of views and stuff like that is way. Andrea is and obviously Neelam is. Anybody else still here? Did you peace outie? I'm just checking in. Let's see here. Neelam, did you want to do anything today? Or are you just sitting back watching? There's always a delay too. Some people have a higher delay when they type in, and I don't know why. And I'm sure it has something to do like where you're at. And what was your question then? Like sometimes it's just see what I'm saying? Again, it'll take forever for it to come through. No, I'm over here. I'm waiting for your question to be posted. It just takes a hot minute sometimes for it to. Okay. And what do you want to know about that? Like, what specifically do you want to ask? Because there's God Almighty. Spirit could take that and be like, and now you should focus on doing X, Y, and Z and have like say nothing about the relationship. So how do you want to, you're spiraling. So are you looking for spirit to to talk to you, to try and anchor you back in? Or are you just in a situation where you're like, I don't even know what I want to ask. I just need, okay. All right. Give me just a second. They're giving me something where like and you might disagree with this, okay? So I'm gonna preemptively start there because I feel like sometimes we're receptive to what they want to say, and sometimes we are so kind of like seeing something a very particular way that it's hard to hear it. And so this may be something that they've attempted to tell you already, but like you've blocked it out, kind of thing. Because in regards to like this feeling of like whirlwind and like the chaos, um, they give it to me like it's actually not your emotions that are all over the place, it's your mind, and that your mind is causing the spiraling, and then your emotions are following suit. And that if you were able to kind of like pull your mind back, you'd realize I don't I'm not nearly as upset about this as I thought. And it's also giving a bit of like a uh like I'm upset that it had to happen to begin with, is the way that it feels. Um, and so closest thing that I could liken it to would be, when we get in a position and we're like, of fucking course that would happen. That wasted all my time. Why did I have to da, da, da? And like we're pissed at ourselves more that the situation in and of itself occurred, that our time got wasted, that our tension got taken away, than we are about actually losing the person. And the best thing I could like, if I were to pick something in my life, I remember being with somebody one time and I knew that I needed to end it, but I didn't want to be wrong again. And I ended up like I would like I waste, like because it was like, oh, like it just felt like something stole time from me, something stole path from me, that kind of thing. So it has that energy. Like, I don't know what the thoughts are that are going through your head, but it feels as if it's more like anger than it is actually like if from just the circumstance than it is any real deep attachment to this person. And I'm not saying you don't have any emotions. I'm just saying it feels like sometimes our mind can kick up the dirt. Like our emotions are like a creek and they've kind of settled to the bottom. And when you go in kicking up the dirt, it just and it clouds it up. And when you stop for a moment and you realize, oh, I wasn't that I didn't. Okay, let me read let me read it. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like your heart's not actually hurt. Well, it might be a little bit. It might be a little bit because you're like, fuck. But it's more like your mind's like, this motherfucking like that's what it feels like. Like you're just pissed, actually. And spirit's kind of like, if you could just take that and go, like there's something to celebrate in that, if that makes sense. Because one, a couple of points. They're making a lot of points. I haven't even put a fucking card. One, they're saying when one, you have a lot of control in this situation then. And the amount of time and the degree to which he can derail you is really within your hands because it's not him that can derail you. Um, I don't know why they're saying it like this, but when you don't have that much attachment, because they are using the word attachment or love for somebody, they don't really have influence. They can't manipulate the situation or circumstance. Like, it feels like you can just decide. I can just decide. And so you have a lot of control in this situation, and they don't. And something tells me that they like to kick up dirt for you. They like it when the dirt is kicked up and you know what I mean? Um there's a sense of that to them makes them feel special, but um, there's something about them liking that, and it'll irritate the shit out of them, and they'll be in their feels egoically when like a switch. It's like a switch. Like you could just decide and go, "Oh, I'm done," and move the fuck on. It's really just about letting go of it mentally. So the second piece is you have so much control in the future because having this level of awareness in this moment gives you a kind of discernment. Sometimes we can learn through watching and observing, and sometimes we learn through experience, right? The reason this was important to learn through experience is because then it kind of like gets like encoded in you at a deep level, right? We always talk about this like a deep cellular level. It changed you where you then and it also like there's saying something about your subconscious. It penetrates your subconscious so that you operate almost automatically from this level of discernment. Um, because your ability to witness, observe, understand when you really actually have emotions and when your brain is just really wanting something because it satiates. Think strength card, like the inner lion or the lizard brain, it satiates something. And so they're kind of like, you have your cutoff game will get a lot easier and better and quicker in the future because of the level of awareness, because I feel like I am sitting within myself, observing everything, observing the thoughts, observing the emotions, observing what's externally happening to me and going, so it's almost like you are anchored and you're also spiraling. You're kind of like in the center of the storm. You know what I mean? The eye of the storm where you're just like, and that's where you get the best perspective. You understand shit. If you get swept up in it, you don't. You don't see everything for what it is. But you're kind of like observing everything, even the thoughts. I just get this sense of like there's three aspects to yourself within yourself. You know, like there's times where I will say, like I'm trying to talk to somebody, and my brain just keeps throwing shit out, and I feel like I'm inside my body watching my brain going, "The fuck is wrong with you?" Even I know that's not the word. What are you like? Like I am some third party observer to me, and it's kind of like that's where you're at. Um, the level of your brain has for a long time and probably run the show a lot in a lot of your relationships. Hear me out here. Your brain seeks dopamine, and so it's going to either create chaos or it's going to create some kind of attachment. Or it's going to kind of create whatever. And when you get the serotonin and the dopamine and the norepinephrine and everything else like that from it, and you feel like you calm that part of you, that somehow that's what peace is, and that's what, oh, this is, I mean, it's happiness, but it's not love. And somehow your brain, you see it for what it is right now, which means you're not going to be swept up in shit when things happen again. And I'll get to the thing, but they want to talk about you really quick. Like you're not gonna get like let's say you meet somebody else, you won't get swept up in it. Like, if you're like, "Ooh, this feels really good," you're gonna know whether it's love or if it's like, "Ooh, this just feels really good," like and there's nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean? Like, when I'm just looking to have fun and, it's A-okay to admit that, like, "I know this ain't gonna go nowhere." But beyond that, because again, you can get into a situation where, like, in the beginning that it's not gonna go anywhere, but your brain will lock in. And then as a result, emotions follow, not because you really feel something for the person, or that you share some kind of deep connection, um, but because you want to live Feeling in this existence is living, right? Because you're not living if you're not experiencing. I don't know why I feel like like give it a week. And the more you sit inside yourself as a third party observer to what like all the parts of you that are behaving a certain way, um, it's like when you see it, you're gonna go, and all of a sudden the brain, even if the brain keeps going, trying to kick up the dirt, your emotions are like, "Oh, so this isn't real?" And you're like, "No, it's not real. I don't know what the fuck my fucking brain is doing, but this shit's bullshit. Like, watch this bitch. Watch the shit that she comes up with." And it's almost as if it's like your emotions will not be triggered. And then it's kind of like I want to call it the ego, the brain. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's the ego. And then the ego's like when the ego has no more puppeteer on, like you know what I'm saying? There's just something about I feel like it's like this that you're just done with it. Because also, if you were to tell the ego, "Hey, when you do that, you're giving him power." Oh my god. No, the fuck you didn't tell me that. Like, there's this it all just kind of, like, lines up, and you're like, "What the fuck am I doing?" But it's almost as if it's like, from this point forward, moving forward, you're capable with that level of discernment to know whether or not something's if you're moving in a direction or feeling something because your brain wants you to feel it, because your ego is trying to convince you of it, because of you know what I mean? And then suddenly you're so aware of you, the core you, that it's kind of like you can call bullshit on all of it. Let's pull some cards really quick. Sorry. And that's okay. When you realize it's okay, like it's also okay to date people and do things with people, not for the sake of they're my one and only, but because you deserve to live and have fun and have excitement and the journey should be amazing. Like again, I just feel like you're just gonna go, oh, okay, well that leg of the journey's over with. Because the longer you stay in that mental, like thinking things through and da 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 da, and you pose it like you like time was stolen from you or like look at all the like all that time wasted. No, it wasn't because you literally just admitted how fucking fun it was. And you're gonna be like, shit, on to the next adventure. That motherfucker ain't gonna like that, by the way. Which is probably just gonna make your ego feel better. That's what I'm getting. But I don't think that you're gonna spiral much longer. Like I feel like you can literally you can see it. You can see it. And here's the thing. Sometimes the ego gets its gust of wind because it hides amongst all the other things and you can't really discern and tell what's what. Um, but when you can name it, kind of like a I'm not saying it's a demon, but you know how like in demonology, if you can name it, then you have control over it. It's like, I can see you, right? And the ego's like, oh, what? You know what I'm saying? But it's also okay. This is the other thing. Um, don't get into the trope of, was it really worth it to spend that time with so and so if it wasn't the one? Fucking yes. Because what if in your life, like you're not meant to have a particular person until like a decade from now? Are you literally gonna sit on the sidelines until then? If I have to fucking be here, I'm gonna do what I can to enjoy this shit. So also don't sit there and judge yourself because you let yourself engage in this. Honest to God, the only thing that you should be like, what the fuck, is if you let yourself stay in this perpetual state of woe is me, when really, God, it's just that it's not even real. The woe is me isn't real. But again, this dude is not in your life. Your ego, your brain wants those dopamine hits and you get dopamine hits easier, quicker, and in larger quantities with negative, like immense emergency negative emotions. And so you're really just dopamine like you're seeking You know what I mean? And when you see it for that, you're like, "Oh," because you can get that from other things. Like, do you think that this man was the only reason that things were exciting? No, you were a part of the fucking equation. Do you think this man is the only one that could show you that good time? No, he the fuck is not. All right? Quit giving him more credit than he deserves. Again, you're just going to see something over the course of the next week, and it's going to be like a switch. And no, this is why we judge ourselves like, "Oh, yeah, but if it was really real, then I should be feeling these." Well, as you can tell, it was fun. There was a connection, but it wasn't like your life partner say, "Why are you sitting there moping?" Like, you don't have to. Don't use some weird standard that you think, "Oh, but other people are gonna look at me like this." Who fucking cares? Okay? Ain't nobody living your life for you but you. Quit applying arbitrary standards that have no bearing on this situation, okay? So when your brain tries to go there, because again, it's just trying to drudge up some shit, like to crisis and extreme emotions so that it can get the dopamine. Just don't let it. Don't let it. Spirit team's just like, you have so much more control. And I don't know why, but you're giving me. Okay, so there's no holds bar here, guys. In case you all didn't know, if you're getting a reading from me, um, I go everywhere. Once in a while, I'm like, oh my god, I don't know how to say that. Why am I saying this? Da, 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 da. Okay, but they be saying some shit and pointing some things out, and I'm like, I feel like that's none of my business. But we go there. Um, think. I'm sure you're on social media, and I'm sure that you've understood this. The O method. Now's a really great time since your body wants that dopamine hit. Since your mind is seeking it. There's a couple of things you could do here. The O method will give it to that, but also the O method will work on clearing out your sacral, clearing out his energy, opening you up to receive from other areas. Because they're giving me like maybe you should spend some quality time with yourself. Okay. See, okay, this is the cards they got out. This is called the settlement. Down here it says settlement. You were settling. I feel like the time for him to create fun and adventure in your life was done. Um, and so there was an unnecessary hanging on. And if you don't listen to the nudge where it's like you wanted more fun, is what they're telling me. You wanted to keep, but it had dwindled. It was like so everything starts out as a whisper. And if you don't listen, it gets louder, right? So there's little things we ignore, and then they become, something more noticeable and something until it's like in our fucking face. And so, you know, if you're not listening, when spirit turns up the volume on you, then spirit's gonna turn up the volume on the other person. Okay. Until, you know, for whatever reason. So there was just like a settling. And it was naturally time to just kind of like move into something else. Served its purpose, then started to kind of like actually weigh you down instead of enlivening is what the way they're giving it your life. And so resolution, it was time to resolve this, like get it done and over with. Um, and then we've got renewal. Yeah. Also I mentioned this. I have a ton of readings I didn't upload because I was having uh, technical issues last year. There was a lot that was going on or trying to go on last summer, especially in love. That's when those damn love readings came up. But it was also like movement and getting out and having fun and there's a good portion of people that ended up having that and there's a good portion of people that did not. And it's one of those things where there's something about the energy of what should have been happening last summer happening this summer. So like starting in May to like the end of Leo season. So think like Taurus Gemini season to the very end of Leo season. There's experiences, eh, feelings, emotions, almost like the activities you are doing are going to be like portally. And so I feel like you're within the group where things should have experiences should have happened last summer, they did not. And it's one of those things where um sometimes we can just skip over certain things and it doesn't have any bearing or impact on the path that we're walking. And sometimes it is. So, kind of like with stages of grief, you can't skip over a stage. You skip over a stage, you have to go back and finish that stage at some point, even if they're like, rearranged and they're not in order. Like everything must be completed. So, there's this thing of like, this probably happened when it needed to because there's things, events, people, connections, experiences that are meant to happen for you, and of course, we are like 1 month out from Taurus slash Gemini season because I'm looking more like May. And so, of course, they're going to pull this right now so that you have it out of your system. Probably why they want the O method. Get it out of your fucking system now. So when that time arrives, you're not like, oh, I did it. That switch is flipped. Like your brain no longer wants to focus on that. Hold on. I'm gonna see if they have anything else to say on this since they brought that time period up. Grab Starman. I really just feel like one day you're gonna be like, because you're mad, and then one day you're just like, I'm fucking done. Like you are not, because it takes energy from you. It's a very big fuck it attitude, and it just dissipates. It just disappears because it feels like an instantaneous, and your mind will try to wander to go back to it, but when it does, it doesn't kick up those emotions, and so it's actually really easy to just to be like, you know what I mean? I feel like Spirit's gonna have a lot of stuff coming in to distract you from it. It's gonna feel like, oh yay, I get to be distracted with this, but it's not actually a distraction. They're saying, but it will keep you from your mind from wandering back to that and like kind of like ruminating on this motherfucker, kind of thing. So. And if you it's almost like knowing that it was intentional because you couldn't have the experiences you're meant to have with this person present, um, makes your brain go, "Oh, okay, okay," and it's almost like it shuts it up a little bit. Empress bitch, what did I fucking say? Oh, you about to have a lot of good. That's good, good, good. That's good, good energy because that motherfucker is an anchor. An anchor. Full card. Yeah, there's some shit happening. That you just it's like get rid of his energy, get rid of all of that. Give your brain something else to focus on. And there's experiences that you want to be fully focused on and immersed in that him either taking up space in your mind. Like I just feel like I'm getting like the energy of, and I don't know how I know that y'all have festivals. Like in the US, right? Like when we start like summer hits, music festivals and getting out and doing certain things like that we only can do during this time. It's like I don't want to say it's party, but it's like it just is time to live. So there's gonna be a lot of things you're gonna get to indulge in, and you're gonna be glad he's not a part of the picture. One, I don't think you would do them or indulge in them if he was around. Because why do I get this feeling like he kept you? I feel like not wrapped up, but like constantly waiting on him. And so you would put other things on pause. And so as a result, but he liked it like that. So he would kind of maneuver things. And you're like, oh, okay. And it's like, so you didn't engage in stuff. This motherfucker was probably having a lot of fun. And enjoying things. He didn't want you to have as much enjoyment as him though. So it kind of feels like putting somebody away, like locking somebody up in the house kind of thing. So one, you wouldn't get to enjoy, even participate in these things, but also two, you wouldn't enjoy it. You're meant to like. I just feel like I literally fill it up in my sacral, like ooh, like indulgent. Like you get to indulge in these activities, experiences, things like that. So, to me, there's there's a song called "Good Girl Era." Look it up. Uh, I'm sick of green juice and Pilates. Da, 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 da. I'm done with my good girl era. I'm a something, something, something. Go look it up. Go look it up and look up the lyrics because that's what it feels like. But Empress with the Fool, like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like he would dampen you because how dare you be close to his status? Okay, how dare you be close to his status? Okay, so there's things to come. There's events to come. Give it a good solid week. Start indulging in the O method, focusing on you. Find a hot guy on Instagram if you want to kind of like help fulfill the O method stuff. I don't know how you do things. I'm not telling you how to do things, but I am getting don't let him creep in. Like, don't be thinking about him. Okay. Okay. Because they're just setting you up. And you have full permission to not give a shit that he's exited stage left out of your life or that he pulled those stunts or to even feel guilty about the fact that you spent time on him. Look, it was fun while it lasted. Now it's time to move on to the next thing, okay? You didn't waste your time. In fact, they cut you loose just in time. Okay? So, hold on. Let me see here. I was the fragile soft. Now, damn, that was not worth it. Let's start living like I did. Yes! Yes. Dolly, I'm gonna check in with Andrea first. Because she's I think she's if she stuck around. If not, then yes, because you were I know that you were first. But yeah, Neelam, just get like do what was suggested. Give it a solid week, and before you know it, you're gonna be like, "Fuck that," you know what I mean? And yes, probably the next month is gonna be a bit of a lull. Hence, why they want you to do everything you can to purge the sacral. Okay, um, so that you're ready when the good shit hits. Okay, and it's not long. It is not long because I'm like mid May. Like, because it's around, like, the 21st, right? Where, like, Taurus and Gemini, that's when shit. Because it's like, even if there's not festivals, you suddenly feel like, I don't know, there's something about feeling real sexy and feeling like, like, I don't know, there's just something about, like, the way you move and the way you present and the way you feel when you're just going about your day will be utterly different, and I get a whole lot of interactions with people also. Like, they're more fun and lighthearted and da da da. Like it's just good. And don't let your brain try to be like, oh well, now that I'm feeling this good, when's these things gonna happen? No, 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 brain. Sit the fuck down. You're getting the dopamine you want. So shut the fuck up and just like feel it. You need to be anchored in your you hear me? Until the end of Leo season. Okay. Andrea. What is being hidden from me when it comes to Carlos and me? So we're gonna tailor it, right? We're gonna bring it to um is anything being hidden? And if so, what? Right? Because here's the other thing. Like I find that if we ask for something, they'll like you can always dig something up. And then sometimes when you're not like, it can sound more whatever than it is. So first we want to know is anything being hidden? If so, what? And then if nothing's being hidden, like I'm sure spirit will have something to say about the question in and of itself. I'm just saying. But we'll see. Give me just a second. So they're giving me, uh, uh, I sometimes explain how things come through to me, that way y'all understand. If they show me saying something, so, like, sometimes they will show me before I even come on, like, mentioning something on the live. Like, I'll see a vision of it and hear it. I'll watch myself do something. If they give me a vision and I'm watching me do it, that means they're trying to say, "Hey, I want you to do this." Right? Because sometimes I'll just take a vision like, "Oh, okay," and I just move along. They're like, "Motherfucker." And so, like, sometimes they'll have me like I'll like I have some that are regulars, right? And they'll come on and they'll show me saying something to them. And so then they come on and I'm like, I don't know why, but I had this earlier where I was like, da, 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 and it's like because I'm meant to say something and it's always something, right? Okay. Um, I just saw me going, not to you necessarily, but to spirit, who is Carlos? And that tells me they want me to start there. Like they want me to tap into just his energy to make sure yeah. Okay. Hold on. Because I was debating between this deck and this deck. All right. I did for anybody that's chiming in, because this is a live, you can scroll back for the to like the first 3 minutes, and I gave a rundown of how I'm gonna be doing these readings. Okay. And what I hope how I hope this kind of like unfolds. So not everybody will get a reading, obviously, because I'm getting pulled. Um, all that kind of stuff. So go watch that and then come back. Um, there's a slowing down they want me to do. Carlos has a smaller energy, and I don't. It's either like younger, slightly more immature, or like um, what is the word that I'm looking? Hold on. Not as I don't know, either childish or more timid. Like I'm trying to figure this out because they're giving me a page of wands. And when Channing Tatum is like, sexy magic Mike kind of energy, right? And then there's this meme going around where he does this skit or whatever, and he goes, "My name is Jeff," but this is a wand suit, and obviously a very phallic one, right? And the very second card that comes out is the Two of Wands. So we're definitely in some fire energy, but this is a little like just not. It's like a spark versus a bold energy. I mean, at least it's not the Knight of Wands, right? At least it's not a everything that's shiny I want kind of thing, going impulsive, going after every little thing, da 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 da. Because the Page of Wands brings in the wand, which is the Ace of Wands. Again, Ace of Wands being that fire, the creation, the desire. And then two of wands is how you choose the choice in the action that you take towards that desire, that creation, that whatever. But with the page of wands, I am because I'm like, who is Carlos? And the page comes out, and I'm like, so I'm gonna let them tell me a little bit more, and then we're gonna go from there. Seven of wands. And a seven of pentacles. There's definitely like a withholding here. And they keep repeating the word timid. Now, I want to be very clear. These are wands. So there's definitely a fiery energy. And fire signs are not, or like the fire energy is not known for being timid, but there is an aspect because it keeps giving like why wouldn't he show up as a king of wands or a king of pentacles or you know what I mean? And seven of pentacles is like my failure to launch card, like something dragging out. You know, Seven of Pentacles is the sometimes people think that something is a failure or something that's like something's not there, it doesn't exist, it's not going to happen because it's where you plant the seeds, right? But then you have to wait forever to see what is or isn't going to sprout ground. So this is the idea that something hasn't sprouted ground yet. Stick with me. There is a fucking reason they're telling me this shit. That goes along with, and then here you are, the fucking Queen of Pentacles. Why do I feel like he is just not? And a fucking Page of Cups with the like the. I said he's not a king. Is this like failure to like afraid to commit, afraid to be all in, afraid to? They're using the words timid and immature and failure to launch. We have a Page of Cups, a Page of Wands. And here you are, Queen of Pentacles. That is obviously something that's not equally yoked, I would say. You get these two kinds of energies together, no wonder somebody's gonna be like, what the fuck is going on? Because some shit don't make no sense. Like, motherfucker's not gonna operate on your level. Seven of Wands is a sense of like boundaries and shit. Um, mm, you know, whatever actions this person takes, I don't feel like they match you. This person just doesn't match you. And why do I keep hearing justification? Yeah, but this, but like so and so does like this, and so does like this, and it's like you can pick out like probably like five things where you're like, oh, but this is really pretty cool. But for the like the entirety of the person, how do I put this? Like it's like making bold moves once in a while, but that's not their who they are on a consistent basis. Because Hanged Man is that's somebody who's not so sure. I don't know. Like, and this is a long pause mixed with the Seven of Pentacles. Like, this person just doesn't. It's not a sense of I'm gonna take forever to make a decision. Like, I feel like that's why they're like failure to launch because this motherfucker would take eons to fully show up, in my opinion. And they keep saying boundaries. I feel like there's like an excuse here of like, um, me first, my boundaries, got to take care of myself first, and blah, 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 blah. And so other people could feel secondary to this individual, me, myself, and I. While that can be very positive, that's not necessarily a negative thing. Paired right next to the Seven of Pentacles, I'm going, I feel like you're put on pause a shit fuck ton, Andrea. Can I just say that? Like this is the person that would be like, when I have a little bit left over for you. But it's because they really fucking can't. They can't operate on your level. We've got the Page of Wands and the Page of Cups. This is a whole lot of promises. This is not showing the fuck up. This is not big dick energy at all. Just gonna leave you on red all the time. And it's not because here's the thing. There's no deceit here. This is why they wanted to talk about it. They're like, he's probably not hiding anything other than his they just said self-absorption. He's just not there yet. Some men go through the page stage longer. And hence why the Seven of Pentacles, failure to launch. He just hasn't, you know what I mean? Like certain things that are planted take a long time to develop. So he might be really mature when it comes to like making money. But like emotionally, this motherfucker is stunted. And it's not that he won't get there one day. He just ain't there. Like he's too, you know what I mean? And like there's like for some men, like they can go through their 20s and 30s and they might be a great person to know. They might be fun, like nobody would necessarily say that they're a horrible person, but they don't really fully enter into the fullness of themselves and their capacity until like late 30s. You know what I mean? It's giving me like how people with like that are neurodivergent and they say like, most people their brain stops developing or has fully developed by 25, but if you're neurodivergent, like it's still developing well into your 30s. It's kind of like that. And you kind of just have to accept like everybody's journey is different. And to me, generally speaking in this deck, you see that bird cage around he's stuck in his perception of how he should maneuver in relationships, love, connections with people. And that impacts how he acts. You know what I mean? And it's always going to be me first. And the fact that they're giving me this instead of the Nine of Wands, it's not that he's better, thinking he's better than you. It's just that there's a good reason he's operating the way that he is right now in his life. Um, and you will experience it as what the fuck? Because you're here and this motherfucker is not. And so it comes across really inconsistent because he can show up in certain ways in certain aspects of his life when it comes to this dynamic or really his understanding of other people. Like I feel like he's even stunted, and I don't want to say stunted. He's not there yet. It's not like something happened and he's just he's just not there. Like I understand human behavior. I understand human psychology. I understand I get people. He does not. Um because his development is his Seven of Pentacles, his development is going to be slower in that area. And it's necessary for it to be slower. So, Seven of Pentacles also references sometimes people think that it's a failure because when you're planting a garden and you're waiting, like you've done everything you possibly can, right? To create fertile ground for something to come up. And I don't care what the seed packets say. 6 weeks and this thing will start sprouting, and 2 weeks and that will, like, bitch, they come up when they fucking decide. And it's one of those things where it's kind of like it's a futile point to pour energy into any one particular seed that you planted, trying to get it to grow because you don't know which one's going to actually sprout or not, because some seeds just don't sprout at all. You hear me? And so it's the idea that it's kind of like when it's his time, he will flourish. But you don't get to determine that time frame for him, and he could end up being one of those seeds that never sprouts at all. Like, this motherfucker could be the person that, like, never really connects like that with people and can never meet people in that on that level. They're giving me that saying by Maya Angelou, "You can only meet somebody as deeply as you've met yourself," right? And right now, he's meeting himself deeply. Don't mean that in a weird way, but it will come across as inconsistent, and they're giving me Cardi B's song, um, thinking there's something wrong with me when you're the one that's inconsistent. You got me thinking something's wrong with me. That's what it is. Is there anything being hidden? Is there anything being hidden? Four of Wands. Ten of Swords. This is giving like broken home. The reason he's having to take longer in regards to what I want to say, certain other intelligences within himself, right? Um, is because there's something his view of, his understanding of. Home to me is both like creating family, like a home, but also like finding home. Like he's trying to find home within himself. And until he does that, he can't find home in somebody else. And there's something about a broken home. And so he very well may be working through at this time. The reason he's focused on himself more than anything else is because he's working through repairing, healing, and restructuring, reparenting probably internally something that like a part of him that was created as a result of his familial dynamic growing up. His his lens, right? Like it like to me with the 10 of swords with the 4 of wands is like it doesn't ever work out. Like he doesn't have any real examples of where it works out. So, but he does have it. They're telling me that he does have examples of where someone lost themselves because they poured so much into something that never worked out. And so that's why he won't do it. So he's got stuff to work through. It's not a reflection on you. It is not a reflection on what he actually thinks of you or thinks of this, but it will be one of those things where that's such a it is a thing where it's gonna have you questioning yourself though. And it's something and he probably doesn't articulate very well either. So if something feels off or he's inconsistent or like he just doesn't really want to go there with you, you may see him behave in a manner that feels shady and he's not really trying to be shady. But he also doesn't seem to know how to fully prioritize you and what that actually means. So I'm gonna ask one more time. Yeah, he's trying to work through this. We've got Justice card. Um, he's working through karma with the five of cups. Now, in this particular one, there's 3 cups that were spilled. So these are all the things that he's seen, right? Experienced, witnessed, either others or of himself. It does impact, like, he used to have a very pessimistic attitude in regards to love. He does not anymore because you see now he's got the two, he picked up the 2 cups. He turned around and saw the 2 cups. But somebody who's just come out of looking at love like the 3 of cups, like it's always gonna go wrong, isn't necessarily ready for the level that you're ready for. That's why he's showing up as a page. "I just a baby." That kinda thing. They're giving me memes today, sound bites. "I just a baby." Like, he's not ready to show up in the way that he has to because he's just now gotten to the place where he 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 sees it differently and he wants it, but there's something still growing within him. And can I just say, um, you can sit around and wait, but that then stagnates you. And stagnant waters go rancid. So this might be a situation where you will just, in the evolution of the relationship, get to a point where you're like, it's just time to move on. You feel like you are standing in place by being with him. And that's not fair to you. And it's not fair for you to expect something for him to like, when we try to rush people in their process, things go awry. Things do not work out, and it's never a good thing. And remember, like I said earlier, there's just certain things, like if there's a process like the grief process, you have to go through every stage. If you skip over one, you will come back to it, no matter how quick or slow or anything else like that. There's a process to this, and you have to like, and so he has to go through his process. Um, so I don't get that he's hiding. Maybe something that you don't see is this where he's come from a broken perspective. Like, you know what I mean? Like love, union, finding home in somebody else, creating a family just doesn't work. Even if, and here's the thing, even if um let's say his parents stay together. There's plenty of people that stay together that should not have. And if two parents didn't love each other, somehow when they try to show a child love, the child questions if that's even real because of what they're witnessing. So like there's something here historical. Anything else, Spirit? Oh. This probably I'm getting two things. We have the death card, which, right, she's pregnant, like she's the empress. But she also has a scythe. And the death card talks about the endings and new beginnings, right? It's like cutting away old things so new growth can come through, right? The scythe represents harvest, actually. But to harvest, you have to literally cut the life. You have to end something. And so he won't be able to grow until he's fully, you know what I'm saying? Um, but I am also getting that an inevitability might be that you just come to a conclusion on your own because we have the death card, which is endings and new beginnings. And then we have the ace of swords. Like he can't go the path or go the route or be who you want him to be or show up the way that he should until the death process is completely done, right? Because he's still in the 5 of cups. He has turned around. He's picked those cups up. He knows what he wants, but he can't necessarily walk the talk right now, right? He can't embody it just yet. Otherwise, he'd be in the 6 of cups, still in the 5 of cups. There's a balancing happening right now. Um, and so until he's cleared it completely out, the death, like then there's no clear path ahead. It's going to look like what it's been looking like, right? And they keep giving me the energy of, and I always joke around like this, but um, it's also real. Like, and I think I talked about this on last live. There's a pattern that I've noticed with Cancer men. Okay, them motherfuckers, just to avoid any sense of like they really don't like conflict. They really don't like whatever. The motherfuckers will tell a million white lies that seem so nonsensical. Like you could get to the bottom of what they were like. You're like, okay, that doesn't make sense. And then when they tell you the truth, you're like, well, why did you even lie about that? That was so dumb. It's like because they perceive that there would be some kind of like sense of like disruption or ruffled feathers or like, or if they couldn't articulate themselves just right, they'll just say whatever just to kind of like move on from something. And so they are the sign, specifically male cancers. I've experienced this. A million white lies. And it creates this discord. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're upholding a bigger lie. But there's just it's the lack of um emotional intelligence, the capacity, right? Because it becomes overwhelming to them if they think that there's any kind of discord or any kind of so it reminds me of that here. Like that's the energy of this. Um, but also you might just come to this conclusion on your own. Like the clear path ahead is to just kind of like end it to have a new beginning. Because constantly feeling like what's what and feeling like you don't really know or understand and like constantly second guessing and quite like the lack of clarity in this relationship will get to you eventually. But it seems to me that um this might be a repetitive cycle for you like this feeling this until he gets through this and there's no like rushing his process. Will he get there eventually? We hope so because he's definitely made some progress, but he's still in the 5 of Cups. So, again, not exactly the emotional intelligence that a Queen of Pentacles deserves. Will definitely keep you in the energy of questioning yourself, even knowing this about him, because you're gonna get tired of waiting. So, makes sense? I'm just gonna say you're probably going to cut it loose again. I see that y'all were together before. And it's again, it's not that he doesn't want that. The idea of love, right? Because he sees the 2 cups and he's picked it up. Um, he is just not there. And I do feel like you're just going to be left waiting and stagnant as he moves through this and discovers how to be the person he should be with you. Again, spirit doesn't want to hate on him. It's just who he is, where he's at. And sometimes, like we always this is the bad thing. And humanity needs to get out of this. We wait for something drastic, dramatic, or horrible so we can feel justified in letting something go rather than just choosing ourselves and knowing what's right and being honest and integral with ourselves about where we're at, the situation, the circumstance. So to me, this is this situation where it's like there's no deceit cards out here. None. And they had plenty of time to pull some shit out. Okay. It's just he's not going to be able to be he's not ready to be what you would should want or what you not should want but what you do want. So, um I hope that helps. May not be exactly what you wanted to hear, Alrighty, so let's see here. Who is hey unique? Let me see here. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm gonna get some allergy medicine or my nasal spray. You know, the nasal spray, they like they want you to like tilt your head so it goes down the sinuses, but then sometimes it goes down the back of the throat into it's the most grody tasting stuff. But if I don't do that, then I'll get a headache from the let me take my medicine too. So we don't go there. Dolly, are you still here, Dolly? Dolly was the first one. I called for her earlier. She wasn't here when I started this, so I want to make sure that I do her reading, and then I'll get to you, David, after that. Look, but yes and no. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much of a choice. I hope Andrea was cool with her. I'm good. Unique, you know what I want to say? I want to call you Uniqua. You know, from Backyardigans? I don't know if you are familiar. Okay. So, Dolly, the initial hit that I got from that. Look, we speak fact, truths around here, and we don't sugarcoat shit, okay? Okay. So he's got the inconsistent. He doesn't show up like he should. The way that they're giving it to me is the whole I feel he's trying. It's like it's an act. You know what I mean? Sometimes they're tokens, is what they're saying. Sometimes people will behave in a certain way in order to be able to gain favor or placate or manipulate a situation when nothing has really actually changed. And your perception of he's trying feels like little token moments versus real change. They're giving me token moments. And they do that because they know that we will anchor into that. Oh, and there's always something like, see, oh, so and it's like, it's no. You still see the inconsistency, which means that's not real. But we still want to find out. Does this motherfucker feel anything? We're going to do new era elements. Spirit just said, we are going to be so happy when people no longer get hung up on other people and get hung up on themselves. That was a little blunt. Okay. Okay, hold on. I gotta formulate that. What are his feelings towards Dolly? This is very curious, okay? So we have token moments where we can go, oh, he's trying, but really he's still very much inconsistent. And that's the overall energy, is the inconsistency still exists. Tell me why, when I ask, what does he feel? We get the lovers, we get the ace of cups, but in the center, we have the 10 of cups reversed. Now, how the fuck do we have? Oh, I get it. So lovers, it's like love as a choice. Cups is self-love. 10 of cups though. Okay, here we go. Nine of cups is when it's the wish card because it is about true, genuine desire and contentment within oneself. Feeling very utterly fulfilled within oneself. It's only about the self. Again, the ace of cup, right? You only get to the 10 of cups when you get to exchange that with another, meaning someone else brings in a cup, correct? That's how you reach the 10 of cups. 10 of cups is about the reciprocity, the exchange that amplifies the love that you have within yourself. But that seems to not be there, this exchange. But there is a I have chosen. There's a choice here. King of Wands is the goal dude. He is the if I want it or if I've set my sights on something, it's happening no matter what. The level of drive, follow through, commitment there is to something is unmatched with the King of Wands. He becomes almost like singularly focused on something. I'm like, we'll achieve it at all cost. Flanking him, we have the Four of Wands, which would indicate a home life, stability, union, commitment, correct? And then the Ace of Pentacles. Why does this feel like, you know how they say men don't marry the person that they love, they marry the person that is there when they're ready? It's like, okay, I've hit the age or I've hit the stage or I've hit the whatever. It's time to get married. And so now there's this sense of that's the sight, that's the goal, but not necessarily looking for there's like a love flowing freely between two people. So these tokens are because like not because he really feels compelled, but because he's like it's time. No, well, yes and no. Because I don't feel like there's this feels like he's saying to himself it's time. Like he's been in the player energy before, but like he's telling himself it's time to choose, time to choose, but he's not doing it on the right basis. It's more like a choice of opportunity and timing than it is the 10 of cups. Because the 10 of cups is true genuine love. It's each one showing up equally, pouring into one another, offering their cup to one another. There's no offer, no exchange. It's just, I'm ready. I'm, you know, there's a single cup that's full. It's screaming, you happen to be the person when he's finally decided. Hence why you're like, wow, he's still really inconsistent, but he's like, you know what? She's as good of a choice as any. I hate to sound like this. Like she's got a cup, she can pour into me, she can take care of me. This is the right time, but there's not actually the exchange. So it because it's like a decision rather than so and so's the one. Yeah, he wants it, so he's gonna have it. Magician. I feel like he wants the home, the family, the commitment because more than he wants you is the way that I would say it. No offense. And you happen to be the person that has showed up and your cup is full, so but there's no real love exchange going on. Like he manifested this because it's the right time. Magician can make anything happen, and he's magician is also known to be very manipulative. Nine of wands is guarded, walls up. Does he love her? Does he love her? I'm gonna pull a different deck. Ten of wands, just ready to not ready to be done doing it on his own. Like it's kind of like, okay, now it's time to move in the next stage. Feels very intellectual and like okay, I'm ready to do something different. Like here is the 9 of cups. Like, you know what? I'm done doing it on my own. It's time to move into like have somebody help me out, have somebody whatever. 9 of cups. So I desire this. I wish this. I want this. Knight of wands. Knight of wands is impulsive. Again, because I want it now. Like I get the energy of, you know how like women will be like, everything I wanted someone to be for me, he did for the next person. It is because they were ready at that time, not because they were like, "Oh, I should." And there's men that do this. They're like, "All right, I've had my fun. I'm gonna," but they're not really emotionally ready. Like because they desire something To have a 9 of cups flanked by a 10 of wands and a knight of wands, it's like either I want someone at home to help me out because things are getting it's mommy energy. I hate to say it like that. It's like mommy energy, like trophy wife, like uh um because the Knight of Wands is a very fly by night or impulsive, erratic, like just because I got a wild hair up my ass, I decide, okay, yep, that's it. You know what I mean? He's also the shiny thing, 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 right? He very well may be tired of doing it on his own. And he does want someone by his side, but he obviously hasn't eradicated the Knight of Wands energy. In fact, it's adding to the fuel. Like when I like I want something, so I'm going to get it. That's the magician energy. I want something, so I'm going to get it. But I'm not exactly emotionally available. You know, I have built walls. I am closed off. I'm this, that, the other to any kind of real soul connection. And it's the energy of this. They're giving me Ariana Grande's "I Want It, I Got It." I want like this motherfucker is very used to, it feels like, getting exactly what he wants, and he decided. He decided. Um, because I have a victory. Like, he has a wish, he wants a desire, he doesn't wanna do it by himself. He's ready now, I'm gonna get it. Boom, I've got it. Like, I win. I'm gonna pull a different deck. What do you wanna tell her about this? They keep saying a wandering eye, King of Wands again, Devil. He showed up as the King of Wands. I want it. I got it. I did it, a bit manipulative, walls up. They're also giving me very childish right here. Oh, that's where I got the mommy vibes from. Like, there's something about adding a person in makes things easier for him. It's time for me to have somebody on my side. What do you want to tell her? Eesh. You're the Strength card. Give me a second. Can this come in? Tell me about that one. So they're bringing me to is they bring me to okay, so in this strength card, instead of having a lion that they're taming, it's a unicorn. And I always say if you're represented by the strength card, then you're the unicorn. Like there's something very unique, special, something about you where it's kind of like you need to honor that. Meaning it really requires a lot to be true to yourself. Six of Swords mixed with that is kind of like it is an alchemy. It is a moving on energy. It is about moving in a different direction. We do have a Queen of Pentacles. On this side, we have the Ten of Pentacles with the Three of Wands, which means long term commitment, a legacy, love, family, all are possible with the Lover's card. What am I asking them? What do they want to tell you? And we have this Six of Swords transition because the Six of Swords is all about change. It is a transition, right? And the Strength card is the perseverance, the bravery to choose you. Um, and acknowledging that you're a Queen of Pentacles. Because the King of Wands gives me like, I have a goal versus it reminds me of a situation where one person emphatically would love the other one more. Honey, you're the right person at the right time. He's looking for a person, a warm body to be this for him, but it's not because he's in a position or a place where he won't necessarily choose a person. He will choose a person based upon a checklist of they would make a great blah 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 blah, and I could do X, Y, and Z. Not because there's this exchange of love. This changes everything. The Ten of Cups in reverse, and literally is like what a person does and the reason that they do it really fucking matters. Somebody can go through the motions all they want and posture and present and all kinds of things, but the energy in which they enter into something with determines the outcome. So when we look at the Tower card and we're always like, why did you build that on a faulty foundation? The faulty foundation is the energy in which you entered into something, the energy that you use, the energy, the intention to fuel something. He is in a position of now's the time. I've sowed my wild oats. I guess it's about time I did it. I need to have somebody helping me with this. But it's not because of what two people share. It's because it's the right time. You happen to be the warm body there. By all means, you check a lot of things off on the list, but it feels like it's not what you would think. And eventually you would find that out. And unfortunately, sometimes that would be a decade later where everything falls apart and everything is, whatever. Because the tower that was built on was built on a faulty foundation. And this to me says if you have the strength to walk away, you go from choppy waters to calmer waters because you know your worth, because the Queen of Pentacles does. She knows what she deserves. You will end up with Lovers, Ten of Pentacles, Three of Wands. So basically, what I hear is you really should be paying attention and trusting your perception of the situation where you're like, he's inconsistent, showing player, because that's who he is at the core. And just because he thinks he wants something different and he thinks that it's time doesn't mean that he will be able to do that long term. And what you want is long term. You're wanting the Ten of Pentacles. And you can get that, but it doesn't seem like you can get that with him. He will continue to posture and give you little things that you can go, oh, okay, see, like things that you can hang on to and he can drag you along until that tower finally fucking comes down. So, which is good. I think they're like, you wanted to know what his thought like this it's like this person doesn't have feelings. He didn't come out as the King of Pentacles or the Emperor or the King of Cups. He's the King of Wands. He has a goal in mind. And so that's what he's it's like he's putting people up against this checklist of would you meet that standard? You know what I mean? Um so yeah, I would this person he's focused on a goal, but it isn't an exchange of love. And so you just know your worth, know what you deserve. Um Start moving in the right direction. And with the 3 of Wands, it's the idea of like there might be a bit of a wait as your ships come in, but your ships will come in. You will get this, the love that you want. Just chalk it up to um like good on you for missing that. Like I'm so glad that missed me. Like you know what I mean? Like so yeah. Um and I hate to say it, but I have met way too many people, too many men where that's the case. It's like, yeah, doing it for the wrong reasons. It's the wrong reasons that he's doing it. But he's yeah. It's like he's trying to find somebody to fill a position rather than having a soul connection with, if that makes sense. Because of that, because if you can't, because the time is now. I need you to get this through your head. The time is now. So he's going to look at who's the options, who's the best option at this moment. And if you're still waiting around and welcoming him back, and he finds out that these other options don't want nothing, or aren't going to do it, aren't going to fill the position now, he will find the person that fills that position now. And unfortunately, sometimes women will think, "Oh, I'm chosen." Like I want, you know what I mean? It's like they feel chosen because and it's not. It's just like you are the warm body that was willing at this time. And again, he's got this little list of like, and he'll compare and contrast. And if there's another person where they're willing, it's not about the connection. It's not about the connection. He's got a role and a goal to fill, and he's going to find the best option available to him at this moment. It's the timing. It doesn't even have anything to do with you. Do you know how many men will sit there and they'll talk about their wives and it's like, you know, I've seen men go, "Well, she's not the prettiest, and she's not the this, and she's not the that. But she's a good wife." Like it was really just about filling that role. And we keep talking about this fucking loneliness epidemic. It's that. It's that. It's satiating some kind of whatever so that he's not in that energy. And it's a sad fact, but there's a good portion of men that are in that. So like to me, it's pretty self-explanatory because you let him back in because he was testing the waters because he needs to fill this role with somebody. And if you're the one that's like, okay, I'll stick around, then he's like, great. And these motherfuckers would never tell you that. They'll tell a stranger who's doing research that, and it's fucking pathetic because they just don't want to be alone because they want a mommy. You know what I mean? Dickhead. Let's take a quick breath. Oh my God. So just be glad, basically. Be glad that like block him. You're not a placeholder. Be glad that you were smart enough to recognize it too. Yeah, because it is, you know? And I mean, we always need to recognize, like, when we do these readings and spirit is confirming exactly what it's really just them going, "Okay, you don't need to fucking ask me. You know exactly. You got this. You had it on lock. You clocked that shit." And I know sometimes we just want to go, okay, am I seeing this right? Um, and they're just like, yeah. Mm-hmm. You are. You got this. You saw it exactly like it was. So, you know. All right, I'm gonna take just a few seconds to chill. See, this is the reason why sometimes they slow me down to pace me because sometimes I can get like the energy when it's a lot. But also I only got like 4 hours of sleep last night. So I can't completely blame it on the amount of energy moving through me right now because shit happens. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just wake up and you're like, huh. And your brain goes, I'm awake. And I'm like, you shouldn't be. Okay. We've been doing good. You're welcome. All right. Now, David, I will, as a reminder, remind you that I am not going on forever. So you need to narrow down your question because a lot of times you give me loaded questions and then it takes eons, and I'm not doing that. So, what most specifically do you want answered from Spirit today? Then I'm going to tell Spirit to pick one thing specifically. We ain't going all over the goddamn place with this shit because they be playing me sometimes. Madame Endora's. So, at the heart of it, there's a temptation that might lead you astray. A temptation may lead you astray. But flanking it, we have you're safe from harm. And what do we know? Fate has blocked this path for you. So, at the heart of it, there is something that would have tempted you to take you off course that they've blocked. And that's to keep you actually it's a sense of protection because it would have sent you on I heard massive detour. Reaching your destination. Passion and pleasure, savor your life. I heard your proverbial good. Um, Whatever they blocked you from was gonna delay you from reaching some kind of point of like feeling good about your situation, your life, where you could actually indulge in pleasure. I'm looking at this because I got view from above. So it's almost like you like elevating you out of it, out of something so that something doesn't whatever. But then joy and delight. So it's kind of like a path that would have elongated pain. Nice and tarot. Is he aware of what you're talking about? Yeah. Seven of Pentacles. Ooh, two sevens. Sevens are important right now. Um, Seven Pentacles. Something. It's like the idea of like something that's been gestating will break ground, but like also needing to kind of like y- where you are mentally needing to protect that in order to protect this new beginning. He's holding that egg because Seven of Swords is really about positioning yourself mentally to maintain something. It's like pivoting and positioning yourself. They don't want you wrapped up in any kind of illusion or like self-sabotage or self like lying to oneself. Um it's like how you see something, your lens and is imperative to it breaking ground. Ace of Wands with the Page of Wands. There's something removed that would stop you from seeing something through, from new life, but like, tell me about that page. Hold on. They're singing, "Come on, baby, light my fire." This feels like they keep bringing me back to a new life, like actually feeling alive, like actually living, like feeling like life is worth living. Like there's something about like a new beginning, something new that's supposed to break ground that will make you want to be here. Something that you would Page of Cups, you feel called towards, that you feel good about, but always there's like the fish that comes out of it. So there's more to it than just that. It's like wanting you to stay on that trajectory. Almost as if this temptation would have deterred your attention from a path that they want you to keep going down, where something is going to break ground for you. Um, like, yeah, like a distraction. Like this would have just been a distraction because you would have put time, energy, investment into it rather than staying focused on this. So it's almost like your perception, your lens needed to remain. We have the 6 of Cups. Definitely a more pleasurable time. And Seven of Pentacles gives me like it's so close. It's so close. Okay. And they're like, you're gonna reach your destination. And that's the time for passion and pleasure. That's when it'll be, I heard, safe, because it won't act as a distraction. So it's like they're shielding you from something that would take you on a detour. How close are we? Yeah. So 8 of Cups, walking away from something. 9 of Pentacles, very a singular energy, but that's also like reaching some kind of a goal in a singular energy. And then 3 of Wands, ship. So ships can come in. Like see, you're in the judgment where like you're being pulled in a direction. They want you to keep following that direction. It's like answering, the proverbial answering the call, like showing up to something. And you can't have your energies split. It's like needing to be in the King of Wands energy where you're singularly focused and like that. You know, because 5 of Wands is like a bunch of different things kind of like pulling at you in different directions. And it's almost like being fractaled. The King of Wands is not fractaled. He sees something through. 3 of Swords. Like if something had continued, it would have gotten to a point where um yeah, it just feels like you had to separate yourself from a situation. Feels like once something breaks ground, then something can pop off. Then it'll be the time for passion and pleasure. So it's like they're trying to get you to a certain point, and then you can have those other things. Queen of Wands, Page of Pentacles. My computer. I can't give you anything else that they're giving me. And I'm just gonna be honest with you. It does feel like it is the same shit, different day with the readings. Um, and anytime something's like that, I'm always like, you're probably not gonna get what you want from the readings. Either it reaches a point where it's like all of this is something that you're supposed to like sometimes readings are not going to help you along on a path um because you'll get more through your own personal whatevers, or it could be that you need a different, we got the death card, so something had to be cut away, you know. It's funny that I would call you like a king of wands and they got the queen of wands with the page of pentacles, like whatever queen of wands energy is waiting on the other side of whatever this is. Like that's where the new beginning happens. So I don't know if you're gonna get like there are times in my life where like the more beneficial information comes from the downloads that I get or when I'm able to tap into something myself. And if you hit a wall where like readings or even going to any other practitioner is the same thing every single time, that's usually a great indication. Um, that whatever you're needing isn't going to come through those avenues. There is the value sometimes where you're more likely, like not the proverbial you, not you, David, but a person is more likely to like the message is more likely to hit home, sink in, and really impact them if it comes from within versus, you know what I mean? It's like having a breakthrough. Um, because I've kind of wondered that the last two times. Three of Pentacles. We're really just supposed to be working at creating and building something right now. Um, yeah. Let's pull a different deck and see if it says anything different. Let's try Golden Universal. What time is it? 11:45. Five of Cups. Definitely don't want you focusing on anything that you perceive as having gone wrong. Hence the Seven of Swords over here, like keeping your mind, whatever. Your perception correct. We have the Ace of Cups with the Seven of Swords again. Seven of Swords is again, not the Ace of Cups. Um, Three of Pentacles again. It's building something. It's about positioning yourself right as you're building something, focusing on you and having clarity. Very singular energies, Ace of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, you know, Definitely looking at the 3 of swords. It's almost like things not opening up until you get to a certain point is what it feels like to me. Like, once you get to a certain point, then other things. They're not gonna like, it's almost like because I see, like, a hallway and, like, all doors are shut until you get to the end of it, and when you walk through that door, there's a million like 5 different paths, and they all, like, go like this. So it's kind of like nothing really opens up until you get to a certain point because they want you to focus on just that. Because any other doors just act like a distraction. This is a very particular path. They don't need you lost in some kind of liminal space when you're trying to manifest something and bring something in. They want you to fan the flame of this spark, this project, this idea, um, and hunker down and focus on that and only that. So, this just says see something through. So, they want you to see something through. That is what I'm getting. See something through. Like, come hell or high water, you're going to reach your destination, is the way it comes across, reaching your destination. Like, no longer experiencing life like this. It's they're showing me Maslow's hierarchy of need, like root chakra, like root level, like sense of security and everything else like that. That being mandatory in order to be able to feel fulfilled at any other level. And that you can't really move beyond until that is taken care of. So it's almost like that is the focus. So and if like others can't channel or download or read anything differently for you, and I know you fucking know this, but um you know how we've always experienced where they're not going to entertain giving us anything else other than just this, and it's like until this is taken care of, like you could be talking into a fucking void. You're not going to get anything from them other than um what you've already gotten, kind of thing. um and so even if you're like asking questions and they're like quiet as fuck, it's like it's because you already know what to do, and they're not going to entertain anything else until you do that. That's just how it feels, dude. So, mm, you are welcome. Lord have mercy, my neck. Remember, David, when we were, I hope I can mention this because this is something that I told you about where it was after your reading. Remember, I told you that I kept getting something that was going to be like a massive, it was going to be like the pandemic, where it was like a worldwide, but it was like a shutdown in a way, but it had nothing to do with like an actual pandemic. And now everybody's like, "Oh my god, the world might shut down because of all the gas and stuff." And I was like, "There's something that's gonna be like worldwide, and then it's gonna stop people from being able to travel." Remember that? And now all of a sudden it's happening because I was like, "There's something happening in March that's gonna end up," and I'm like, "Look at this, look at this." Anyways, 2020 repeating itself. Are you putting those books out, by the way? They're not even when some of these other countries are posturing like they're gonna get involved, they're not gonna be able to. The weird thing is he's really put himself in a pickle where everything is gonna be on the backs of our administration because there's something about what's happening over there now that actually restricts anybody from helping out or getting involved. Like, resources are gonna be limited. Economically, everybody's gonna be impacted. Nobody's gonna have the oil. Like, they won't have the ability to invest in a world war. And so they keep telling me it's gonna be like conflict, 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 rather than an actual war. And most of those conflicts were gonna be started by the orange orangutan. Um, rather than. And so like it never reaches what the technical term for a world war is. It just doesn't. He has pigeonholed himself. And they show me him he will back out eventually, with his head between his legs because it's not attainable. Whatever he's trying, he won't. All right. Who else left? I got. Let's do one. Unique. Um, I have no clue if you were gonna wanna read. So I was just checking in. I have, for those who are not aware, I have, and I'm gonna do another one because I keep getting more. The accuracy of my predictions have been even scaring me a little bit. But it was time to put them out because I don't really like the people who are like, I know everything that's gonna happen with and I'm like, God, you know what I mean? But everything is happening all the way down to birthright citizenship and everything. And I did do a hour-long prediction for 2026, but there's more coming through. I'll do another one. But if you go back in my videos, it is there if anybody's curious as to some of the other things that are gonna go down. Well, what's the question, Unique? Okay. We're gonna focus on is there one and what factors play into the two of you meeting because that'll give a little bit of the how and when, but not I'm getting a thing of like well, let's just play. Let's see. Look, look, look. It's always a good idea to go, "Hey, is there one motherfucker?" I mean, I want one. Um, uh, because sometimes, well, I know that sometimes saying a divine counterpart or a soul connection gets played out, right? But life partner can also, like, look, my parents were together until my dad died, and they probably shouldn't have been. I'm just gonna tell you. And so sometimes life partner doesn't mean what you think it means. It's like we don't want somebody just to come in to be like, um, so we kind of want to be tailor that just a little bit more. Let's see what we can. Oops. Well, you're definitely bored of the quote unquote options you have or have had in the past. With the Four of Pentacles, I see somebody, because this is the tarot of sexual magic, and I can't show everything, right? But there's somebody pining over her, and she is literally couldn't give a shit less. Utterly unbothered, apathetic to it. So it's not that there aren't people. It's just nobody that you'd want to, because the Four of Pentacles is like, do I or don't I? Do I invest or do I not invest? Is this worth it or not? Like, should I give this attention or not? And it's kind of like, she's not. But this tells me there are options that would give you the time of day. You probably don't see it because whatever's in your environment is not catching your attention. And then we have like the Eight of Cups. Can you see it? She Eight of Cups. There we go. Which again, same scenario. I'm gonna cover up her tatas so you can see this. Four of Pentacles. Look at him pining after her. Like, oh, you're me. And she's like, she is going to sleep. She's like, unfucking interested. Can I just say? And then here we are. Look at him. Oh, yearning. Please, my dear. And she's like, oh my God, get away. Get away. So you keep walking away from stuff. You are uninterested. Which leads me to believe they're bringing for me, like, I have this thing where, like, I don't listen to very many men. And that sounds like a dick thing, but to me listening is like there's an active participation in it. You can hear somebody and you could take it or leave it. Like it kind of goes in one ear, out the other. It doesn't necessarily have any kind of bearing or influence on you. You take what you want from it and you leave the rest. You don't really like somebody's like over here just talking. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Listening, it has focus, intent, and actually it's a willingness to receive when you listen. You're receiving what someone's saying. And I don't find that I give a shit to listen to very many men because I find so many to not be holistically intelligent, meaning that not only do they not have emotional intelligence and maturity, social awareness, um, you know, uh, well-rounded critical thinking, understanding and perception of the world, along with knowledge on like like a lot of people where I live are very stunted, and that is by design of the society in which I live because that's how you keep people under your thumb. And the state where I live thrives only because we have workhorses. And, when people know better, they do better. And so they don't want people to know better. They want people to be in survival mode. They want people to be, overly focused anyways. And so I don't get a lot of that. I'll be honest with you. Um, and this reminds me of that. There's something with the options, uh, where you're at, that you come in contact with that lack something that you find imperative to be able to be attracted to. Because the Four of Pentacles is, I could take it or leave it. Like, I don't even care. And frequently leaving anybody you do entertain to try and find what it is that you do want. Okay. So I don't feel something, again, here we are, badass bitch on her own, Queen of Pentacles, knows her worth, capable of doing X, Y, and Z, doesn't have to have a man or a relationship or a whatever. And so it's one of those things where it's kind of like motherfuckers find that very attractive, but also it's like you become their life raft in a relationship, because you are the strength. Of course everybody wants the Queen of Pentacles, of course, and you're not going to accept anything less than someone who understands what you bring to the table and doesn't have to fucking ask you, because if you got to fucking ask, then you're not intelligent enough to be with me. I don't know why I'm feeling this way, but good God. King of Cups. Emotional intelligence is exceptional to you. You don't want someone that, again, you want someone who is as selective as you. Whose cup is full. And isn't seeking to kind of isn't just jerk, that sounded a little like, his cup just splashing every which way and it's pouring into everybody and then not having enough for you. Almost like somebody who has that regenerative cup. Um, there is an emotional depth you're seeking. And I swear it's almost as if it's kind of like they have to be able to meet you. Like that you can only meet somebody as deeply as you've met yourself kind of situation. A certain level of self-awareness and the role that they play within the world. I just heard somebody that's not inept. I don't know if you've used that word. Who's ready. They're also giving me somebody who's already ready, that you don't have to wait for them to develop into the kind of person they should be for you, that's already there. Right? Okay. Yeah. That's already ready. The Sun card with the Two of Cups. There is nothing to kind of clear or whatever. They're ready from the get-go. That they know that you're a fuck yes. Ten of Pentacles. That's their end game. Ten of Pentacles. Ooh, I just showed it. I just showed it. And Eight of Wands. Ooh, who communicates. There's also something about you're not really into being courted for exponential amount of time. Meaning that, people got to figure it out. I'm trying to see if we're good together. It's there's something about somebody who, when people show up in integrity, meaning their words, actions, and energy all match. They're transparent, standing in their power, standing in their truth, are able to articulate it. You don't need 5 years of courting to know if you should be together. Um, the only reason some people need that is because they hide aspects of themselves and try to pretend to be certain things that they are not. And then that just wastes people's time. And there's something about that that you don't like. Yes, exactly. So I'm glad we're on the same. Okay. All right. So now that we know where we're at, I'm gonna tell you the person you seek is not where you're at. A high probability is that they exist at a distance, which is the complicating factor to coming together. So we're gonna ask some questions. I just heard Olivia Dean's baby, where's my husband? Or what what is taking so long to find me? That fucking song. Okay, thank you. Um, where is this proverbial motherfucker? I don't know why. I don't know why every tarot deck that I seem to choose loves tatas so much. I didn't even realize it. I mean, I love tatas, but golly, like the number of decks that I'm like, I did not realize there were so many risque. I'm like, what? What is wrong with me? And I'm choosing. This is a Page of Pentacles, but it's called Princess of the Echoing Hills in the Hermetic Tarot. And they're bringing me to the Echoing Hills. Echoing Hills. There's something about the hills. I don't know why they're bringing my attention to that. And the Death card. Hold on one second. Hills could be the idea of distance. Page of Pentacles is like the initiation of, like connecting with somebody, and it's like the distance is causing the problem. Like it kind of like ends it before it even begins. Let me find out what they're trying to say here. We do have the Queen of Cups, which obviously I'm just gonna say matches the King of Cups, like what you're expecting of them. We do have the Death card is considered the great transformer. So there's like this phoenix rising. There's this end. Like this gives me the idea like distance needs to be bridged or gap. Like the gap needs to be eliminated. What are you trying to say here? Knight of Swords. There's some cutting something out for sure. There's a pivot. Um, moving in a different, like going about this differently. Ace of Swords, a whole new path to the Emperor. There's a different path to the Emperor. Knight of Swords is the 180. Like you're going about it wrong. You're going about it wrong. Um, you're gonna have to change up what you're doing to get to because Ace of Swords is is the path of least resistance and the clearest path and the clarity to the emperor. So, and with the Knight of Swords, a permanent change or a permanent shift, it does give me the idea of you may have you now we've been getting this a lot, okay? I'm just telling you, probably for 2 years. Like a lot of the people I read for, like where you're at ain't cutting it. And it's given the idea of like you'd actually have to physically move to find them. Like it's not where you're at. Tell me about the Knight of Swords here. I think that's why they're like you'd have to end something, the death card, in order to have something new. Hold on. Tell me about the Knight of Swords. Okay, now we have the Knight of Cups, but they're giving me waves and waters. Why do I feel like there's something about being landlocked? Because they gave me the hills, like rolling hills, which is feels more inland. And then stay with me here. Waves and waters. Am I on the right path? Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. The apps aren't going to give you the emperors and the kings are not on the apps. Those are knights. Okay. Because we have the Knight of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Pentacles. Um, if I were thinking landlocked to water, it's kind of like on the apps. That's where you're going to find those that are not emotionally intelligent. That's why they're on the app. No offense to anybody who's on the app. I know that there are probably very good emotionally intelligent men on apps because they feel like they can't find blah blah blah. But like it feels as if it's kind of like there's a definite pivot, going about it completely differently. I just I they keep like an emperor would not be on there. And that's really what you're requiring. Can I just fucking say? You're looking at this like when we described this motherfucker, it's like they're not on a fucking app and they're not where you're at. I would say both. Traveling is going to get you out of that area, but something tells me in the end you'd be moving or because an emperor has an empire. He's kind of might be locked in where he's at. Because it's kind of like there's the 180, the pivot, cutting out, doing something one way and moving in a new direction. That's the Knight of Swords. Knight of Cups is the idea of there's this sense of like I want to go like and say something about like romance and they're like they keep giving me the waters. It's like moving in the opposite direction. Knight of Pentacles. That's where you're going to find something worth, you know what I mean? Right now we've got the devil, which is kind of like same shit, different day. That's the landlocked energy that I'm getting. Um, And also they're giving me a whole lot of like surface level, physical. We do have the Hierophant. We do have the Lovers. This is what you want. You're going to need a King of Wands, a motherfucker that does know what he wants. Again, this is the way they're giving it to me. If an emperor is on an app, much like the other reading that I gave, he's looking for a placeholder, somebody to fill a role, not for his empress. And as a human, I'm like, I don't know if that's really true, but in this situation, I feel like they're trying to indicate like who and what you're looking for is not going to be on there. So let's talk about this travel. Let's talk about this. Like, what exactly are you wanting? What can she do? Ace of Wands. It's like you're not gonna get this Emperor is looking. This Ace of Wands gives me like chemistry, and that's very hard to discern over an app. So I feel like what they're trying to say is basically the person that's your life partner wants to have that interaction, and it does not place themselves in the digital realm and feels like they can only gauge through actual interaction. Are we talking about travel? This is also the car of like the car. I was trying to say the card of adventure, but then car came out of my fucking mouth. Yeah, we have Six of Swords, which is also travel. Seven of Wands, solo travel. And then Tower, fated event. So in the least, and then as a result, we get Page of Cups, Two of Cups, Two of Wands, the Moon. So Two of Wands is giving me the like, if you don't take this kind of action, you're not going to be able to find them. Five of Cups. Like there's actual action here that has to happen to find them. Like you've got to move towards your desire. What's on the app would be knights and knights operate at a very materialistic 3D shallower, you know what I'm saying? And apparently the true path to the emperor is going to be through face-to-face interactions. They're definitely anchored where they're at to a certain degree. And the idea of like the Hierophant Lovers, King of Wands is like you want somebody who knows, who just fucking knows. Even if they were to meet you on the app, there would be an immediate we need to meet face to face because they will not gauge anything over conversations. They are a person of action. Okay. What can she? How? I'm gonna put this up. I want a different deck. We're gonna use Secret Tarot. How can she help this along? We've already picked up on traveling, and I don't know why, but this motherfucker probably does travel to a certain degree. Like it's not like they're a homebody, but just there's something about your area, never in your area though. There's nothing about what they do that would pull them into your area, which again you would think makes sense to be on the app, but this person doesn't do apps. Nine of Cups. Which and death. It was the Nine of Cups and death. So if you want what you wanting, the wish card, if you want your wish to come true, you're gonna have to like the death card is like that would be a move. Like the end of something and the beginning of something. Like it would be closing out something, a chapter. And that's yeah. Hold on. What are you trying to say with that one? This sounds really it's not a knock on you. It's just how this person operates. Some of Wands is like a sense of self-respect, self-love, uh honoring the self, standing in your power, blah blah blah. And it's like anybody of that caliber. So you're looking for somebody of a certain caliber, and they are too. And they look at it like the person that they would want of that caliber wouldn't be out dating random people or wouldn't be on the apps because Five of Wands is like a lot of options. It's a lot of desires, a lot to sift through. Judgment card is kind of like choosing, but it's like the options are the Knight of Wands. So the way that I get it is like this person's like my person wouldn't be on the apps because and I don't mean this in this way. It's just the way it's no self-respecting blah 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 blah. Like this person has some pretty high fucking standards. Sounds it's in the same vein as yours. They might be a little more brash about it, the way that they're kind of like I don't know, they just like they're not going to be in a sea of cuz every night has come out. They would stand out. They would stand out, but they just don't feel like the person they're looking for would be on there or okay, we get it because the moon is kind of like see 2 of Cups with 8 of Swords. Because I was asking about the 7 of Wands. That's why I get like, um, you wouldn't be wasting your time. There we go. Like I was like, is no self-respecting person would be on that's not necessarily true. But it's kind of like the idea of that you would know you wouldn't be able to find it on there. Because you would know that you're just above. I hate to make it sound hierarchical, but it's like I'm too good for this. Because you know you wouldn't be able to find it on there. So, okay, I'm just gonna say, um, you know, to some people, when I was describing you, that might sound a little bit like, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" And kinda ish when I described this emperor. There's just a belief that, like, you know what? I've been out there. I know what's out there. And if you really listen to anybody else, you probably know this. Like everybody is agreeing, like, they ain't shit. Like people are leaving in droves from the apps because a lot of unwanted for a good reason people end up on there. Girl, okay, you and this motherfucker are in sync then. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, I'm so glad. it kind of sounds mean, but then again, can I just be honest with you? I am about to turn 46 in 2 months. Um, and at the age of 31, I was like, or 32, I was like, I'm never getting on an app again. Like I hated them. I hate the caliber of people that I meet on those apps. I don't like them at all. And as a result, you do go longer without finding the person that you know what I mean? Because it's harder because you have to do it in person, au natural, which also means a higher probability of having to get out of the environment and the circumstances that you're currently in. And that requires you to, really engage with the world at large. So, you are really leaving a lot up to fate and spirit to bring things together. And but I swore it off 15, 16, well, about 15 years ago. I was like, "Fuck this shit. Oh my god." Um, and people used to try to make me feel bad about it because they were on the apps, and I was like, "Absolutely not." And I've known people to meet on the apps and they worked out, but can I just tell you that was in the beginning of them, and then everybody found out about these dating apps and everybody got on it, and then the riff-raff showed up, and it was just terrible. Even Raya, the one that's supposed to be, like, really exclusive, not anymore. Like, it's just you can't form a real connection or get you know what I mean, like that. Um, and so I'm with you on that. It sounds elitist. It's not. It's just I fucking know. So now that we got that out of the way, what can she do? How are they going to come together? How are these two going to come together? Is she going to do anything? Are you doing something, spirit? What's up? What's up with this? Lovers. Okay. So absolutely. Okay. So there's a little bit of like a hangman. There is a bit of a it does take time, right? There is a time. You have been on a I don't know if this is future or what does she gotta do? Hangman. Oh, I get it. Like we've been saying, go about it a different way. You're gonna have to go okay, what way then? Because hangman is like getting that different perspective. I think it is trusting your gut versus what other people are saying. Like when they encourage you to, like, yeah, I feel like you're right. There, you're not gonna find them there, so you need to go about a different way. That was the Knight of Swords. Hangman is look at it differently. Look at finding love differently. Okay, in what way? Page of Pentacles. Something new, obviously, in your 3D reality, in your material world. Explain that. There's something here where it's like, to me, the Page of Pentacles is like an opportunity to go about to like a different path. Because a singular pentacle is a completely new path that grows, right? To the Ten of Pentacles. Um, a path might be presented to you. I would call it an opportunity that could change things for the better, but somehow Five of Swords would happen with it. And it might be because it's such a change that it gets the brain going, oh my God. And you might try to pros and cons it and things like that. So let me find out what they're trying to do with this. Because again, we have another Five of Cups where somebody realizes the two cups, right? Like they're no longer worried about the three cups. They've turned around, found the two cups, picked the two cups up and said, okay, this is it. Seven of Pentacles. In this particular one, something is already breaking ground, but it's brand new. But why is it? So this will take you further away from family, is what I'm getting. We have the Ten of Pentacles, but the Two of Swords. So I'm asking why the Five of Swords? Why the mental confusion? Why the angst with it? And Two of Swords tells me there's two truths here. So that seem to conflict with one another. You do want this, but there may be a strong either commitment to where you're at or like that's going to take me further away from something that I feel like I want to keep in my life. Hence why we got the death card a million times coming out. Um along with the tower. So it's almost as if it's like, the two different swords. Do I want this or do I want this? I want them both equally. What do I do? You go in within and it's kind of like it leads you to. So there's this choice of like, and with the Page of Pentacles, it's a completely new area. This does feel like a move. It may be something where it's like if somebody's really anchored like the Emperor, um, you have a higher prospect of crossing paths if you're consistently in a particular area versus if you just go and travel and meet. But whatever it even if you just do travel, because I would start there, okay? Um, it would end up pulling you away from familiarity and into something new. And that's where it gets like things would absolutely in a new area, things would very much turn around. But it has you in your mind because it's like planting seeds in a new place. It's so brand new. The Seven of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles is like, there's consistency, effort, history, like there's a knowledge of it, you're wizened and things like that. Seven of Pentacles is I just a baby. Like it's so new. It's very new, right? And so there's some level of like to choose the Two of Cups, there's some level of Three of Cups sadness about something spilled, so you're kind of giving up something that you thought you would keep for the other thing. I feel you on that one. Yeah, I saw the devil with the Three of Wands, and it's like you're like things are not gonna like because the Three of Wands is like waiting for something to come to you, right? Waiting for your ships to come in. And that's just gonna leave you in the same holding pattern, the devil card. Same shit, different day, same pat like you're gonna have to break out and break free. You're gonna have to me, that really does say in the end, you're gonna have to move somewhere else to find what you're looking for. Yeah. There's a sacrifice there. Definitely. Definitely. And that's why the seven of wands, you have to choose you. I have to make the choice and decision that's right and true for me, that fulfills me, that honors me. And again, hence why the Eight of Swords comes out with the Two of Cups. There's resistance there. They're giving me you've kind of come to this conclusion before though. Um, like you've known I'd have to get out of here. Like my person's not here. Energy. My person's not here. Any indication of where to go? And it's like you have to come to this conclusion. Temperance is like having spirit having your back in regards to this, but also it's kind of like, alchemy, like transmuting some of this to come to that conclusion. Like you're gonna have to work through this basically, but spirit's got your back. There to me, temperance is also like the guidance that you can receive. What location? Why they're giving me that you've thought of the location before. and it's quite a distance, which is why it's problematic because, like, you wouldn't be able to necessarily just drop something. This isn't like within an hour or 2 hours. You have contemplated multiple areas, but this is quite like, one of the many areas that like, you've thought about this before. It's crossed your mind. It's not it isn't you know what I mean? What about mom? What do you wanna Yeah, you'd have to bridge the gap, the distance. You'd have to travel there. You'd have to go there. This is the travel card. This is you'd have to there's a move. What about mom since that's the you would have to make peace with for swords, the idea, notion, or the actual separation. So this isn't a situation where like mom can go with, or like you'd have to, because we have the four swords with the three of swords, meaning like you'd have to come to like a place where you feel okay with it within yourself to do that. Um, two of wands, take action and move in a manner and in a direction that would take you higher to a higher commitment. Um, because I'm over here, I'm like, hey, is there would other people step up? Like I'm trying to give you some kind of solace in being okay with choosing yourself. But this it feels like one of those situations where you have to, because it's a matter of, does the rest of my life belong to somebody else or does it belong to me? And sometimes we will sacrifice decades for the sake of somebody else. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, but that seems to be the thing that's in the way. That's why we got the waters, the port. That's why we get the waters. So, you connecting with this person is going to take you to a different place, and you have to be able to find peace in that, in the separation, in the choosing you, in doing what's right and true for you. Mom got to live her life. And this sometimes can feel hard because society wants to make us feel bad about it, but it's like you also get to, and I get the sense that you've given up some of your life because of mom. That has been a major factor, or family, we shall we say, that's stopping you. So, not to sound like a dick, but you are the thing standing in the way of you finding this person. Here's the thing, you don't need to know anything about him to know where to move. It's a place you've already thought about. Even though you've thought about multiple places, there's a place that you're like, "Ooh," and they're like, "Yes, that one." And then they give us a hint with, like, getting away from the landlocked, moving towards the waters, and then you sit there and go, "I thought about a port once." I mean, the clues are cluing. It's about you getting to the place. There's a place you're called to. This sounds mean. And I if mom really cares about you, she would feel this way too, but it's like maybe your time of being her emotional buoy is over, because surely she wouldn't want you to do without in the way that she had to. 'Cause one day she's gonna leave, and then you are left with nothing. And any mom that wants better for their child than they had for themselves. My question is, like, how come mom can't go, but I feel like mom won't go is the problem. Tower. With the King of Wands. Why can't mom go? Tower with the King of, yeah. She's singularly focused. You couldn't convince her otherwise, it feels like. King of Wands is like, nothing can distract me. This is this, and that's it, and all like all energy on this one thing. You can't tell me, and then because it's like there's some kind of foundation there. There's a sense of nostalgia, so it's like it would be almost too much of a disruption, is what it feels like. And that's that's exactly the point. Is like she wouldn't want you. It's you. And spirit said it in a million different ways. It's you. You're the reason. You're the thing that stand and there's no dishonor in the love that you have for her. Um, and in coming to terms with and finding peace in that separation is to know that she would always want better for you than she had for herself, and that she doesn't want you sacrificing your entire life for the sake of her, for sure. And you're right, like she's not she would choose to stay. She would choose to stay. Um and you've chosen her over your own life long enough. Again, no judgment to that. Just that it's almost like mom, the universe, spirit, life at large is saying it's okay to choose you. It's time. Does that make sense? And sometimes we just need to hear that because the um the thoughts, and that's probably where the hidden like deep-seated emotions are. It's like it it can Eight of Swords us. It can definitely be our own self-imposed entrapment. We create the prison of our own making. It's a prison of our own making. So, and that's okay. You know, ain't no shame in any of it. The only thing I can add to that is this. I found that the longer I lived with my parents, taking care of them, the more I became their focal point, and I was the responsibility of their happiness, of keeping the household moving and going, and keeping the peace and everybody happy, like amongst themselves. When I finally removed myself, they had no choice but to find their own happiness, to make their own way. So sometimes we create a crutch, one that's not like intentional, not vindictive, not malicious in any way, but in you choosing you, mom gets to choose her, and you'd be surprised when you're not there for her to focus on what else she might actually choose to engage in and focus on, and the support and the community that she might end up finding for herself. But she doesn't have to right now because she has you, and maybe, just maybe, she equally finds that she's meant to be this emotional support to you because you don't have any, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny how when we we assign stories to the future, and, like, maybe she just won't be nearly as alone. And maybe this is temporary. Right now, she wouldn't wanna move, but who's to say that once you got settled in and you created your family and everything's like that, and she was like, "Man, I don't wanna be alone." She might choose to move closer to you. You know what I mean? Like, you can't predict it. It's just right now in this moment. It's if you were to proposition her, she's not gonna do it. That doesn't mean things won't change in the future when she decides to come visit you and sees how, like, she won't initiate it herself, but when you're there and she comes to visit and you have no clue. You're assuming that you're assigning exactly how it's going to happen before even knowing, and that stops you. So I would just spirit's only guidance is you have to choose you, and you have to do it for you. So I get it. I get it. So all right. That's a good solid 3 hours. My candle has gone kaput. I think I'm going to sign off. You're very welcome, so that I can kinda recalibrate after all of that. Hope everybody has an amazing day, and I will be back probably tomorrow to do the weekend read, the journal read. So, all right, everybody have a fantastic, wonderful day.